Hello everybody, and today I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a 2012 Nissan Altima. Alright, so before I start any job, I want to make sure I have everything I'm going to need. So I need ramps or a jack to lift the car up so I can get underneath it. I need oil. I need an oil filter. I need something to drain the old oil in. I need an oil filter wrench to take the old oil filter off. And I need a 14mm socket and a wrench to take off the drain plug. And then I need gloves for protection, which I don't have, but you guys need gloves. Glasses to make sure no oil falls in your eyes, and then paper towels. So this is the oil filter I got. I got a Mobile 1, but I would always recommend get the OEM. And then I have a drain that you just open just like that. And this, the little hole right there is a breather. You leave it open when it's draining. Then this is the oil. The car calls for like 4.95 quarts of 5W30. I have full synthetic because that's what's in the car already. I'm just going to put 5 quarts in there. It won't hurt to overfill it by such a little amount. Alright, so now you want to align the car ramps so they are perfectly in line with your tires. And then push them all the way up to your tire. And then you just go slow on the ramp. You don't need a lot of speed. And then the stopper right there should stop your car. Go over here, and by opening this, it helps allow more air into the system when you're draining it, so it drains faster. Alright, just like that, and then you can just set it in the cowl and it'll be good. I'm going to put some oil already in the filter to prime it, just so it doesn't have to run dry, just like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of it, just put it around the seal, just so it's a little easier to put on and it spins on correctly, just like that. Perfect. Alright, so as you go underneath the car, this is the front right here, your oil filter is on, or sorry, your oil pan is on the passenger side, and then your oil filter is underneath the wheel right there. Drain plug is right there. So it's a 14mm. I'm going to take my breaker bar and I'm going to break it, and then I'm going to screw it off with my hands. Alright, I broke it using the torque wrench. So now I'm just going to spin this off. And you want to pull a little bit on it. That way you don't get oil on you when it starts to spill. Now you just let it pour into here until it stops dripping, and then you do the oil filter. So while your oil drains, I usually use this time to check all my fluids. That's good. And then this is my coolant. My battery terminals still look good. I don't see any corrosion on them. This is my air filter. I already know that's good. That's my brake fluid. Sorry, that's power steering. This is my brake fluid right here. And see, that's actually a little low, so now I know to get some brake fluid. Just check around the car, make sure it looks everything good. No oil leakage. Make sure all your gaskets are good. Make sure your refrigerant lines are nice and cold because the car has been on. Windshield washer, reservoir, don't see any, so I could probably use a fill up on that. It's good to know how your fluid levels are doing every time you do anything to the car. Alright, I hear dripping. So now it's a steady stream, but still dripping. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. While it does that, I can open this. So this is an oil filter plier. And it works, this is what works best for the Nissan, is just plier. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll get it out of the packaging. So it's just like any normal plier. You grip it to the oil filter and then you ply on it and then you take it off. Pretty easy. Just make sure, because the oil filter, even though this will be drained, the oil filter will still have some oil in it. So you want to have the drain over the oil filter. And because the great engineers of Nissan decided to put the oil filter there, it's going to drain on this support beam right here. I'm going to grab the plug, wrap it in some paper towel, clean off the oil. Then you just find the threads. You don't want to cross thread it, so make sure it goes in with no resistance. Just hand tighten it until you can't hand tighten it anymore. Just like that. Just give it one good tighten like that. There you go. It's that easy. Just gonna get this drip right here. To make it widthwise, because it's gonna pour on this. So you want to just align it as best as you can with that. And I think that's pretty good. And then you just grab your oil filter. Grab the oil filter. Just spin it off. Okay. Once it's at a point where you can hand loosen it. I have a motorcraft in there. That's for Ford. Yep, see? It's going on both sides and it's getting collected, so. I'm not sure why I put a motorcraft in here. I think it was the only thing I could get that wasn't STP or FRAM. I'm not a big fan of FRAM or STP because their material is not the best. So I'm going to let that drain, and once it's done draining, I'm going to put the other oil filter on. So it's now only drops. We take this and we put it on the thread. So thread it in. Okay. Hand tighten it. So for oil filters, all you should really do is hand tighten. But because my hands are slippery, I'm going to take the oil filter and just do the slightest tug, just like I did for the oil drain plug. So I'm gonna grab it, just go like that a little bit until I feel resistance, just like that. There you go. Alright, now that I've drained the old oil and put the new oil filter in, the easiest part is just pouring in the oil. Okay, just like that. Alright, let's clean off where I spilt a little bit. Take this out, put it on the paper so nothing else gets oil on it. And then just tighten this. Just like that. And it's done. So now look under the car to make sure there's no leaks. Those 2 drops were from the old oil filter. It looks good. Alright, so now make sure your foot is off the pedal. And I'm just going to put it to the on. Make sure it's not mad at anything. Get the fuel filter running and the oil pump running. Okay, now I'm going to start it. Sounds good. Don't hear any knocking or grinding. Hear anything out of the ordinary with your engine, immediately shut off the car because there's something wrong. but everything sounds good. And give it a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna take the brake off. I'm gonna reverse it off the thing. Okay, now I'm gonna get out of my car and look at the grounds. So I don't see any oil anywhere besides right there, and you can see how dark it is. You can tell it's the old oil. We'll look underneath, and I don't see any oil, so we're good to go. Alright, now that we've guaranteed that there's no oil, if you have your oil reminder on, all you gotta go back through it. Just go to maintenance, you go to oil, and then you reset that using setting and reset, or you just, since it's on, you just go back to reset. Alright, so off camera I did that truck as well, and then I drained all the oil back into there, and now you can see how much you burned. So on the Nissan I burned about half quart. Now you can take both of these cans and take them to any parts store. Just make sure to call to make sure that they can drain oil.